Good morning and welcome to Morning News on New Day, live from the News Hub here in Addis Ababa. My name is Safo Abuahine. Now coming up. The new Patriotic Party caucus in Parliament is requesting the Speaker Alban Bagbin to summon Parliament to attend what they say is urgent government business. Some members of Parliament from the National Democratic Congress NDC caucus are leading processes for the repeal of the law that permits mining in forest reserves. Also coming up, cholera outbreak hits residents of Azizanya in the Ada East district as community records more infections. These and more coming up your way shortly. Now to the details. The NPP caucus has initiated a recall of Parliament following the suspension of sitting indefinitely. The suspension has sparked controversies amid a parliamentary standoff as the NDC side insists on their majority status despite a recent Supreme Court ruling. The NPP side argue the suspension of proceedings will impact negatively on government's business, compelling the majority leader, Afenyo Makin, to initiate a recall. A letter addressed to the Speaker said the recall was made in good faith to serve the national interest. The NPP caucus emphasized the urgency of reconvening to address pressing legislative matters, asserting that the current impasse must be resolved to facilitate effective governance. The letter expressed concern that the prolonged delays could further stall important initiatives and undermine public trust in the legislative process. The letter also urged the Speaker to recall Parliament within a stipulated 7-day period. Meanwhile, the National Democratic Congress NDC has questioned the basis of NPP's request for the Speaker of Parliament to recall Parliament for an emergency sitting. MP for South Dai Roxanne Nelson Dafiameko, speaking to TV3, described the request by the NPP MPs as an abuse of parliamentary processes.
So, for instance, how does the 2022 bill 2022 instances succession bill becomes a matter of urgent public importance? How is that possible? Because that bill has been sitting before Parliament for the past 3 years. And mind you, the NDC in Parliament, we don't control, we don't dictate government business. Government business is dictated by the Honorable Afenyo Makin, who now is the minority leader. And so you just can't understand this guy. What we are saying is that I've already said it somewhere tonight, that I'm also going for constitutional interpretation as to whether or not the constitutional provision being invoked by the NPP members in Parliament, the minority group in Parliament of record, is right or not.
3 MPs from the NDC caucus in Parliament have sponsored, a private member's bill seeking to repeal parts of the law that allows mining in forest reserves. The MPs are Alhassan Saibu Suhini, MP for Tamale North, Samuel Okujeto Ablaka, MP for North Tong, and Francis Xavier Kojososu, MP for Medina. One of the proponents of this private member's bill, Alhassan Saibu Suhini, said this will this will take away the president's authority to issue mining leases in forest reserves in order to protect the environment and uphold Ghana's commitment to sustainable development and conservation of biodiversity.
What we are seeking to do is to begin the process of repealing Section 3.2 of LI 2462. And this has become necessary because we are not very convinced about this government's commitment to repeal that law, despite repeated calls on them to do so, and some assurance also from them to do so. Parliament resumed some couple of days ago, and we have not seen anything that suggests to us that they are treating the need to repeal this law with any seriousness or any urgency. And look, Alfred, we are, facing an existential threat.
Let's do some more stories. And former Auditor General and anti-corruption crusader Daniel Yaw-Domelevu is calling for concrete measures to fight public sector corruption, which remains a major stumbling block to Ghana's development. Delivering a lecture during a one-day Crusaders Against Corruption in the Eastern Regional Capital of Koforidua, Yaw-Domelevu called for the full implementation of Asset Declaration Law.
Ghana's performance on the Corruption Perception Index by Transparency International has consistently declined due to what many say is government's unwillingness to pursue individuals who are deemed to have benefited from corruption-related offences. In the year 2023, Ghana scored 43 out of a clean score of 100 and ranked 70th out of 180 countries and territories included in the Corruption Perception Index (CPI). As part of efforts to help reverse the trend, the Crusaders Against Corruption has commenced series of engagement across all 16 regions of Ghana. Former Auditor General Yaw-Domelevu, who delivered an anti-corruption lecture, wants government to take urgent steps to fight the canker.
We need to fight corruption, not because it is simple or a pleasant thing to do. Rather, it is undoubtedly a high-risk venture. So guys, let us continue fighting, and posterity will be kind to us.
He also wondered why the Asset Liability Declaration Law was still not being complied with by some public office holders.
We are required under Article 286 of the Constitution that the President, the Vice President, the Ministers, the Speaker of Parliament, Chief Justice, etc., they should all declare their assets to the Auditor General before assuming office. And every 4 years, they should declare their assets and liabilities. And when they are leaving office, they should declare. Why? Because when you declare, then we will know that when you were coming, you had one car which doesn't work. But when you are leaving now, you are leaving with 10 cars. They are all brand new. And then we can ask you, how did you do it?
Chief Crusader Emmanuel Wilson says the engagement will be sustained until concrete gains are made in the fight against corruption.
Statistically, we are told that $3 billion goes to waste through corruption annually in Ghana. Can you imagine this amount of money in our communities, what it can do for us? Can you imagine what it can do for us? There are so many things that is going on. And that is the reason why it is important when we get opportunity to conscientize ourselves and see what we can do.
The Ghana Institution of Surveyors is calling on government to fast-track the passage of Surveyors Council Bill to allow for proper regulation of the industry. President of the Institute, Dr. Anthony Akweje, argues the delay in passage of the bill is recipe for unqualified persons to infiltrate the industry.
The call was made when over 300 global professionals of International Cost Engineering Council (ISEC) and the African Association of Quantity Surveyors met in Accra for a 3-day conference. The World Congress 2024 is aimed at uniting industry leaders in diverse sectors like infrastructure, mining and manufacturing.
Embracing digital tools is now a necessity in our industry. But as we discuss the future of cost management in construction, one other area that deserves our focus is the issue of project cash flow management. Effective and sustainable project delivery hinges on sound financial strategies.
President of the Ghana Institute of Surveyors, Surveyor Dr. Anthony Akweje, pleaded with government to consider prioritizing passage of the Surveyors Council Bill.
The idea is that our profession needs to be regulated. For instance, if someone comes into Ghana and wants to practice, who gives that person a license to practice? That's a very serious issue on the practice of surveying in the country. Because once there is no regulator, it means that anybody at all can do anything, and you cannot punish that person. So we need the council bill so that we'll be able to regulate the activities of surveyors.
The 3-day event is from October 21st to 23rd, and it is on the theme Reimagining the Future of Construction Cost Management, Sustainability and the Digital Frontier.
On to our next story. Azizanya, one of the communities hard hit by the cholera outbreak in the Adan East District, is in dire need of toilet facilities and clean water. In the wake of increasing cases, the District Security Coordinating Council is considering a ban on all social gatherings, while its counterpart, the Adan West District, has already banned the sharing of food and drinks at funerals. Sarah Penkro, my colleague, reports.
Azizanya is a coastal community in the Adan East District with residents who are predominantly fishers. Residents have been in distress in the last 2 weeks following the outbreak of cholera in the Adan East and West districts. The community has been hit hard owing to a general lack in good hygiene.
I was told by one of the health workers that about 70 people at the facility. Azizanya is recording about 40. Within a week to 2 weeks, we are recording the highest number of cases in the health center.
This river is their main source of livelihood for fishing and other household chores. The only toilet facility that would have served the community has been abandoned for the past 11 years, promoting open defecation along the banks of the river and in the bushes. An act which is a major contributing factor to the spread of cholera.
Some people, they will go to the clinic and come back, and suddenly it will, like they'll be vomiting again, and they will take them back again. Some of the villagers have been going to the bush, and some also have been going to the seaside. We don't have a toilet here, and the water too, we need it the most because the river water is not safe for us again.
We need a toilet facility.
Auntie Koliki, whose child got infected with cholera, has not forgotten the ordeal. My child was infected. We spent 3 days at the hospital. It hasn't been easy. The National Commission for Civic Education has also intensified awareness creation in the 2 districts.
Throughout the weekend, we were all the coastal areas, even market day. It was agreed at the meeting that they will meet with the traditional authority to see how best there could be a limit to social gatherings.
The outbreak of the disease and the upsurge in infections have been a major public health concern for authorities. Currently, the communities are being supplied with water twice every week to ensure availability of clean water. But how sustainable is this intervention?
We are sure that by the time tankers will not be able to go again, community water will finish with their extension, and therefore water should be flowing into those communities.
The district chief executive of the Adan West District, Samson Tete, said although his district is not hard hit, interventions being rolled out will be reviewed.
Funerals within our district should go by the 1 meter distance system where you don't come close to each other, and also at the funerals they are not supposed to share food We are also using the hand sanitizers and the Veronica buckets at all funerals and then at all churches.
Health officials are also yet to give an update on the case count. Almost every household within the Azizanya community in the East District of the Greater Accra region have had a taste of the cholera outbreak, which is gradually engulfing the district. Unfortunately, until the sanitation situation is addressed, it appears these outbreaks may persist for a while. Sarah Apenkro, Azizanya, East District, Accra.
That was my colleague there, Sarah Apenkro. But let's still stay a while longer on health, because 5 in 10 persons in the country are living with refractive error of the eye. The Optometric Association of Ghana warns that ignorance and negligence could lead to preventable visual impairment.
According to the president of the Ghana Optometric Association, Professor Samuel Bwedi Kusi, 44% of refractive error cases in Ghana go uncorrected. This translates into 5 out of 10 persons having the refractive error cases. It says if people do not adhere to stringent measures to take care of the eye, it would result in more visual impairment or blindness. Again, it made the real effort of the World Health Organization to ensure that 40% of populations get access to healthcare services.
It's important that we protect the vision of our people, because the burden of refractive error to the Ghanaian economy is huge, which is quite high, and one of the main causes of visual impairments in Ghana and across the world. And so we are advocating that refractive error services, and especially because the World Health Organization has also identified that as one of the key targets for Vision 2030, to be able to improve refractive error coverage by 40%. And so if we need to do that, then we need to also pay attention to the optometrists and all other eye care providers who are involved in the fight to improve visual impairment coverage. So we always advise that if you are below 40 years, at least visit your optometrist twice a year. And if you are above 40 years, we say that visit your optometrist or your eye care provider at least once a year. And that will help you to be able to know the state of your eye.
Well, people from all walks of life, friends, loved ones, joined the family of Justine Agbenu to pay their last respect to the one of the teens who lost their lives in a devastating car accident at East Legon. From family to the ordinary guest who managed to utter a word, justice must be served to deter others. George Queenie, my colleague, reports.
A solemn day indeed, grief sweeping through the aching hearts of many. Many who could not endure the pain of losing a 12-year-old whose greatest desire of becoming a biologist centered on her love for humanity. Justine Agbenu was one of the teens who died on October 12 at East Legon through a ghastly car accident involving the son of Bishop Salifo Amoakon. High-profile personalities, including the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Godfrey Dame, NDC parliamentary candidate for Ayawasu West Ward, John Dumelo, MPP General Secretary Justin Kodia, among others, were spotted at the memorial service.
Legon, to be honest with you, most of the roads have speed ramps, and I think that is the only road that doesn't have any speed ramp, the inner roads, if you look at it. And so I think as a matter of urgency, speed ramps should be constructed there.
The wheels of justice this time should not grind slowly. It should serve as quickly as possible and be a deterrent to those who actually take our road for granted and do as they please on our roads.
Parish priest of St. Theresa's Church, Reverend Francis Desina Menuvo, whilst condemning bad parenting, prayed for a forgiving heart for Justine's family.
What can we do? We just pray that parents will be more responsible. We are praying that we will not allow recklessness in our society For me, a 16-year-old boy to be driving is sheer recklessness.
Justin Agbenu goes home today, and, well, uncontrollable tears. Friends cannot really hold the pain and the loss. And the remains are being conveyed to the cemetery for interment. In this critical moment, we can only wish the family strength and light.
Now that both of the teens have been buried, the families of Justin and Mame Jumo are demanding justice, one that can deter others from perpetuating same act of recklessness.
Some say it's an accident. Others say it's as a result of bad parenting. Wherever you stand, it doesn't take away the associated pain that comes with this tragic incident. For me, it opens the conversation on the improvement of our road infrastructure and also good parenting. Justin Agbenu, rest in perfect peace. Josh Queenan, TV3 News, Christ the King Parish, Accra.
And may their souls rest in perfect peace. On this sad note, we end our news bulletin, but New Day continues right after this break. My name is Safa Bwahine. Thank you for joining us. Do have a lovely day.